What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about the depth of the Chicago Bulls and whether or not we truly have a lot of depth, also compared to last season as well. But just looking at the Chicago Bulls team now, there have been a lot of people on Twitter, across all the social media, talking about the Chicago Bulls depth. From the starting lineup to the bench, we do have a truly deep roster. Today, I want to talk about whether or not I see this as the case for the Chicago Bulls and ultimately what this could mean for the regular season. Because, as we all know, the Chicago Bulls dealt with a lot of injuries last season, and that depth that we thought we had last year had to come into play a lot more than we probably would have liked it to be. And although the bench did have to play a lot of those starting minutes for the Chicago Bulls, it ultimately did not end well towards the end of the season, as the chemistry as well for this team kind of fell to the wayside. So, looking at how we've improved the bench, I think many people can agree that we've improved the bench from last season to this season. Does that mean that the depth has gotten the same treatment from the Chicago Bulls team? Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show. Turn notifications on and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and the depth that this team has. Now, ultimately, we have, in my opinion, a very talented team, and I guess there's a lot of differences between talent and depth. I think when it comes to talent, obviously, we're still waiting on a lot of our development players to really show their true talent, become those potentially strong players that we expect them to be. But in terms of the position by position, I really do think our depth is actually much better, ladies and gentlemen. Again, the amount of guards that we have on this team is truly outstanding. But we also have a couple of backup centers now, ladies and gentlemen. The backups upon backups, the third and fourth options for the Chicago Bulls team. We also have a couple of wing players as well. I feel like it's much more balanced compared to last year. I felt like last year, again, it was a couple of injuries, but obviously Marco was in the G League, so we only really had two centers. We didn't really have that much depth in terms of the forward positions. We're using a lot of undersized players in those forward positions and stuff of that nature. I feel like there's not going to be that much of an issue this season. Now, the guards has improved from last season to this year in terms of the depth, because we have way too many guards on the team last year and we have way too many guards on the team this year. That's not changed, but the depth of those guards, again, that could be very interesting just in case we do have a couple of injuries on our hands. If we decide to keep every single one of the players that we have on the Chicago Bulls team heading into the upcoming season, if injuries do play a factor, we do have a lot of guards to kind of fill those positions, which I think the Bulls, saw as a top priority. Whether we trade guards or not, I'm not sure, but it looks like heading into next season, we're going to have a multitude of guards. We've improved our wing positions. Obviously, signing Derrick Jones Jr. as a wing player, very, very important. You assume Javonte Green will also be one of those small forward positions, playing on the wing, making those three-point shots. Dalen Terry, someone that could do that job as well. Justin Lewis as a two-way contract player could probably do a job as well. Not to mention Patrick Williams, even DeMar DeRozan. Again, there is depth there, ladies and gentlemen, from those forward positions, the shooting guard position as well. With Zach LaVine, you could pull Kobe White in that conversation as well. Again, a multitude of high-depth players, in my opinion. And then obviously when you move to the backup center positions, you got Marco, who's still there, and hopefully he can have a standing in this league. Tony Bradley signed on with his player option. Andre Drummond is obviously a significant improvement over Tristan Thompson. And then you got Nikola Vucevic as well as the starting center. And compared to last year, I felt like our bench, many people saying our bench wasn't bad. I think it was bad towards the end of the season. That's my personal opinion. And I think injuries play a lot of factors, because everybody kind of got extremely tired towards the end in my eyes. And you saw the inconsistencies there. But the biggest problem with our bench was that there were so many issues in terms of depth. Not necessarily the talent, not necessarily how good those players were. So many injuries happened to this team and all the protocols happened to this team that our depth was put into question. That's what made us go and get 10-day contract players. That's what made us go and get players that we could sign on for a whole year, just because our depth was really put into question. And I think that was one of the Bulls' focuses heading into this season, to make sure that our team is going to be here for the whole year. Whether we have injuries or we don't have injuries, we've done enough as a team whether we have so many injuries, we have players to cover those positions. And again, we didn't have that much in terms of guards last season when so many of them got injured. We didn't have that much in terms of the backup center position. If Nikola Vucevic ever got injured, it was either Tristan Thompson or Tony Bradley. And for the longest time, it wasn't even Tristan Thompson. It was just Tony Bradley. You put Tyler Cook in there sometimes. You put Derrick Jones Jr. in sometimes. You saw a couple of guys play so many positions and so many guys play so many times out of position that it does affect their talent levels. It does affect their form on the Chicago Bulls team because you're forcing them to play positions that they're just not natural or playing in. So I think that was one of the goals for the Chicago Bulls heading into this season. Just as much as it is we need rim protection, just as much as it is that we need shooting and stuff like that, I think we also are looking for a multitude of players to kind of fill in positions naturally. Not necessarily forcing players to play in positions they can't play or shouldn't play in, but trying to find, I guess, balance and backups to the backups type of situation. Again, the third options and the fourth options there. If we do have a couple of injuries, they can suit in and play very well for the Chicago Bulls team without really causing much of a riot towards the team, ruining the chemistry and stuff like that. I feel like that was the goal for the Chicago Bulls. But ultimately, is the depth better this season than last year? I would say yes, and I would say yes by a fairly large amount. I'm not saying this bench has gotten dramatically better from last year, but I think the depth of this bench absolutely has, because I do think there are a lot more trustworthy players in this team compared to last year that will play natural positions. I think Andre Drummond is a much more trustworthy player to be a backup center and in case of an injury can start for the Chicago Bulls team. I think that players like Dalen Terry off of the wing and play can guard, versatile players as well. I think guys like Justin Lewis and Patrick Williams, hopefully if they're healthy, then you got multitude of guys that can fill their positions if they're unhealthy as well, like the Javontes, like the Derrick Jones Jr.'s, and again, like the Justin Lewis's, like the Dalen Terry's, and then the guards as well speak for itself. Either the shooting guard position with Zach and Kobe right now could speak for itself as well. Look, I do think our depth is much better at this point in time. We'll wait and see what it will turn out to be in the future. I think if I have to pick any positions to actually really target, I would still like to pick the wing position. I still think we could do more in that retrospect. But at the end of the day, I'm not really going to complain about the depth of the team. With that being said, I'm going to end this video here. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.